Our next topic is going to be order of operations. So our goal here is to evaluate different expressions using the rules of order of operations. So the order of operations, we have this acronym that is PEMDAS. And you might have heard of this before. We would say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And there's lots of them out there, but the one I was taught was, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And what it stands for is, the first thing you want to deal with are parentheses. So parentheses come in different forms. You could have circular parentheses, sometimes you'll see square brackets, sometimes you'll see curly brackets, but any sort of parentheses, deal with those first. Then we'll have exponentials. So this is something like, let's say you had 3 squared. You would want to go ahead and square that first before doing anything else. The M and the D is for multiplication and division. And we lump those together. I know that the M comes first in the acronym, but that doesn't mean that multiplication comes before division. You do these at the same time. So I do my parentheses first, then my exponentials, then multiplication and division. And then the last thing is your addition and subtraction. And again, just because A comes before the S, that doesn't mean addition is more important than subtraction. Do these at the same time. So let's just look at a couple of examples. So my first one, 2 plus 3 times 9 minus 4 squared. Using the order of operations, we start with P, which is my parentheses. And I do have parentheses in this problem. So let's do that first. So 9 minus 4, that's 5. Okay, so we've dealt with parentheses. Next up, exponentials. So do I have any exponentials in this problem? And I do. I have this 2. And this 2 is only connected to the 5. It's not connected to that 3 over there. So don't square the 3, just the 5. So I'll have 2 plus 3 times 25. We've dealt with parentheses, we've dealt with exponentials. Next comes multiplication and division. So look at the problem. Do I have any multiplication or division? And I do. I have 3 times 25. So 3 times 25 is 75. And then lastly, addition and subtraction. I'm adding 2 and 75. So my final answer is going to be 77. And now let's do a harder example. First thing is parentheses. Now there are lots of parentheses here, but I'm kind of also going to deal with exponentials at the same time. So let's see here. I have 2. 8 squared is 64. Minus 7 times, and then we have this giant set of parentheses, which I'm going to work from inside to outside. So 3 squared is 9. Let's go ahead and write that down. And I have this -1 and then these curly brackets over here. Okay. So where is my most inside set of parentheses? And it looks like it's right here. So that's what I'm going to start with. So 2. And then I have my 64 minus 7. So 7 and then times 32 minus 4. And then this 9 plus 1 gives me 10. And then everything in square brackets is being multiplied by -1. Okay, so we've dealt with that. Now I need to deal with the next set of parentheses. So my next set of parentheses looks like these square brackets. So inside the square bracket, if I just do that off to the side, I have 32 minus 4 times 10. Well, multiplication comes before addition and subtraction. So really this is 32 minus 40, which is -8. So that square bracket right there, I'm going to replace that with -8. So far, so good. Now I still have one more set of parentheses, and it's these curly brackets. So I'm just going to keep this 2 out front and deal with the curly brackets. Inside these curly brackets, I have multiplication, and I also have subtraction. But multiplication comes first, so I'm going to go ahead and do the multiplication first. So -7 times -8 is positive 56, but then times my -1 makes it negative. So this is going to be 64 minus 56. You could also think of it as this is 3 negatives. So I'll have negative times negative, which is positive, times another negative, which makes it back negative. So inside these curly brackets, I have 64 minus 56, which is 8, which gives us our final answer of 16.